I'm a scoutmaster. I salute and I say the oath and I say the laws on my honor. That means a lot. And those laws and the laws, trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, reverent. 2, there's nothing in there that says lie, cheat, steal, and stab your neighbor in the back. I know how young men are. I know how they can be. They want to take over. They want to be in charge. And I have no problems letting them do that. And just because I'm a scoutmaster, that does not mean that I don't like my short dress and my spiked heels and my Victoria's Secret push-up bras.
Every season of Survivor is a story. There are main characters, sidekicks, comic reliefs, and villains. A good season of Survivor tells a compelling story that has you rooting for someone and against someone else, with the hope that it all ends in a satisfying conclusion. Each story that we look at together will go through one character's journey from beginning to end, from the time they're introduced until they inevitably get their torch snuffed or win the game. We are going to look at every character moment and strategic move to determine whether they were a hero or a villain and whether they were a good or bad strategist. And with that, welcome to Once Upon an Island. For reference, we will be observing only what the TV show is showing us and what story is being told through the show. I am going to use some promotional material to help enhance the story, but it will not count towards the character moments or strategic moves. No future seasons will be mentioned as they have no effect on the story being told here, and all character moments and strategic moves are interpreted with the mindset of what the story is trying to tell us. And with that,
39 days, 16 people, 1 survivor.
Season Several is set in the Pearl Islands for the first time ever with 16 players, including Lillian Morris, our protagonist, otherwise known as Lil, a 51-year-old scoutmaster from Ohio. She's on the Orange Morgan tribe, and she tells us she has been a scoutmaster for 11 years. And then, in a shocking twist, Jeff Probst, the host of the show, says, "Guess what, everybody? We're not giving you nothing. You're jumping off the boat right now with what you have on your back, and that's it." Wow, he says you can go to this local town, get whatever supplies you can with what you got on your backs, and then you gotta get to your camp on your own. That's right, they have to buy their way to their camp. Right away, the contrast is stark between the two tribes. For the Blue Drake tribe, we see them doing their best to work together and utilizing everything that they can, but then with the Lil's Morgan tribe, they are a jumbled mess who do not work well together. At one point, the Morgan tribe decides, we're just done getting supplies. But they still have leftover money unspent. It's like they're in a rush, but there is no rush. There's no time limit. The contrast continues at each camp as we see Drake is unified and Morgan is still a hot mess, except Lil, who seems to actually have some survival skills.
Here, I'll blow on it. My troop back home would kick my butt knowing I'm using a candle. It's real hard to take off the scout hat. It's real hard not to be the scoutmaster here. Oh, baby, good job. Oh, baby, peanut effort here, girl. Yeah.
So their shelter is some poles leaning against a rock wall, and this ends up being a terrible sleeping spot as the rocks keep falling on them and hermit crabs snap at them all night. But hey, at least they're all laughing about it. The next day, we see how Lil seems to be the only one carrying that they have clean drinking water. So her and Skinny Ryan walk to the water hole, and
one of the biggest things in my troop is we tuck our shirts in. We look like a scout, we act like a scout.
Yeah.
And here I'm running around with my blouse open,
you know,
my shirt tied at the waist. I'm gonna come home and they're gonna razz
They're
me.
gonna critique you.
Ooh, baby. Oh, you are wonderful. Oh, how cool are you? The one person who befriended me with sincere friendship was Ryan Shoulders. Ryan's a good kid. I got an idea. You ain't gonna tell where it's at.
I was just thinking that.
Lil is a massive goof. I love it. Their tribe loses immunity, and we quickly learn that on this tribe of 8, Lil and Skinny Ryan, they're on the outs. Oh no. But then Nicole approaches Lil and says, hey, let's vote off T. Why? I don't know. But what I do know is Lil snitches this information to Savage the leader of their tribe, and he believes Lil is incapable of lying. So at Tribal Council,
First person voted out of the Pearl Islands. Nicole. Nicole, tribe spoken.
do you want to tell me what videos I should make? Well, the patrons on Patreon pick 3 videos or more for me to make every month, and you can too. You also get to watch everything I make up to 6 months early and join our Survivor Fantasy League. If you are interested, then there's a link in the description. Thank you for your support. Now with that, Lil saved her and Skinny Ryan's hide with that snitching of Nicole, but in episode 2, their tribe loses both the reward and the immunity challenge. Yeah, that's right, back-to-back losses. So it's like, what, 3 in a row now? And Austin says, I want to quit. I am wiped. Lil says, what on earth is Austin talking about? I have seen him lifting logs and throwing coconuts like they're footballs. He seems just fine physically. It seems like he's more mentally checked out of the game. So at Tribal Council, Skinny Ryan is voted off with Lil voting with him. Now you may be asking why I kept calling him Skinny Ryan. That is because Savage, the good-looking charismatic leader of their tribe, painted him that way. In fact, Savage does this all the time. If there is someone Savage does not like or he wants them out of the game, he will give them a nickname to make them seem lesser than. It's seemingly harmless, but it makes others think about that person that way because he keeps saying it over and over, and then they start saying it, and it's just like, it's weirdly effective. Like when he refers to Johnny Fairplay as Lil Jon, not the rapper, and the Drake tribe as the bad guys. Keep this in mind, people follow and listen to Savage on the Morgan tribe about almost everything. But how does Lil feel about Ryan being voted off?
I'm praying to give us strength. Maybe I'm praying for something so personal. My husband, my troop, my new friend, Ryan. Tribal Council was difficult because I felt like my best friend in the tribe. And I did vote for Austin after some conversation that, yeah, he quit. He's the one that didn't have the heart. So what I'm doing is I'm just staying in here as long as I can. I'm just gonna show that I'm worthy to stay here.
Lil wears her emotions on her sleeve, as we see time and time again for as long as she lasts in this game. She then approaches Savage about how Austin wants to quit, and Savage goes, no, Austin just is like pondering the idea of quitting. He doesn't actually want to quit. Yeah, okay. Savage has his clear favorites. If anyone else was saying I want to quit, Savage would be jumping all over that. Their tribe then loses reward. That is the 4th challenge in a row. And again, Austin was of little help. He looks huge, he looks so strong, and then he's not really that great in challenges, probably because he sold all of his clothes in the village and is basically living in just his underwear. Lil then tries to fish to feed their tribe and improve morale. Rhino says this tribe doing things by themselves, like Lil going off by herself to fish, just shows how disjointed we are. It's funny how Rhino's like complaining about this, but doesn't like try to, do anything about it, like go with Lil. If you see a problem, fix the problem, right? And then while Lil is fishing, she loses the hook. The line didn't break. The hook was just not properly knotted. Savage is ticked at her now. Austin then loses them immunity. That is now 5 challenges in a row. And now it is time for some storytelling analysis. You see, there is this conversation we saw in the beginning of this episode between Lil and Savage about how Austin wants to quit, presented as if this was the beginning of day 7 and the beginning of the episode. Now, after the immunity loss, we see what is the exact same conversation, but a different part of it, but it's presented as if it's 2 days later. So during this cut conversation that clearly happened at a different time, we see
the person that is least valuable to the tribe is the one that should go tonight. And whoever that is shouldn't have any problem with it because they should put the interests of the tribe ahead of their own personal interest. Well, how would you feel if you were the one to go tonight?
Very reasonable.
The least you deserve is the brutal, honest truth. If it's not going your way, I'll tell you. If it's going your way, I'll tell you.
Interesting. Savage never tells Lil a thing, so that must mean she is safe. And Dara, the other player the other people are considering voting off, must be going out next. So they all vote, and
3rd person voted out of the Morgan tribe. Lil. Lil, tribe has spoken. Try that again. They don't want you to go.
My biggest regret is that I didn't stay in longer. It bothers me that our leader said he would get back to me after I stated my case, and he didn't, because it does seem to be a game of a lot of deceit and a lot of lying, and I'm not real good at that.
Yep, Lil is voted out of the game. She even got those final words, but you saw the runtime of this video. What kind of sorcery do I have up my sleeve? Well, for the next 3 episodes, the Morgan tribe wins out. Yeah, it's like when Lil left, they're like, okay, time to win everything. And Drake has to vote off member after member. But then, before episode 7 airs on TV, this TV promo is pushed out to everyone.
Something amazing is happening on Survivor. Something that's never happened before.
It's the game to end all games.
The tribes will face their worst nightmare.
Your past has come back to haunt you.
Survivors voted out are coming back.
No way.
Who's ready to kill?
And wait till you see how they change the game. Don't miss the episode everyone will be talking about.
You may be going home.
Catch an all-new Survivor, CBS Thursday.
They're doing what? That is right. The voted off players have a chance to re-enter the game for the first time in Survivor history, which is wild since nothing is indicated about this in the show through the first 6 episodes. Just not like, ooh, there's some big secret twist coming up. It's almost like the show just kind of like decided on the fly, or they just decided we didn't need to know anything about it. I don't know. I feel like they should have told us from the beginning, you know? But they didn't. Basically, every voted off castaway gets a chance to get back in the game in the ultimate fake out as the Outcast tribe. The rules are if the Outcast tribe wins this challenge, they can vote 2 of their own people back in the game. So,
Go! Burton out to an early lead. Burton is first back. Puts his flag in and starts digging. Burton for the Outcast, first through the cage. Trish through to the second cage for the Outcast. Drake with a slight lead over the Outcast. Morgan still struggling. Drake and the Outcast have everybody free. Morgan still trying to untie tribe members. Double. Drake's pole's falling apart. Outcast very close to a major upset. Outcast have their keys, unlocking the last lock. Michelle's through, Burton's through. Ryan is through. The Outcast defeat Morgan and Drake. This challenge is over.
Burton carried them hard, but hey, Lil has a shot. But before they decide who gets back in the game, we see how ticked Savage is on the Morgan tribe, saying that whoever gets back in the game is gone right away. People like Skinny Ryan and Lil do not deserve a second chance. That's what he says. I mean, who put him in charge of like the morality police? So the Drake tribe votes off Sean, and the Morgan tribe finally votes off Austin because that was part of the deal. They vote off one of their own to be replaced by these 2 outcasts. And yeah, now it's time for the Outcast tribe to decide which 2 people are coming back into the game.
First person going back into the game. Burton. Second person going back into the game.
Oh, God, help me.
Lil's going back to Morgan. Going back to Drake.
Lil is back on Morgan, and she has a score to settle. Also, I need to mention that both her and Burton have immunity at the next Tribal A10, so they can't just be picked off right away like Savage wants to do. Upon her arrival at Morgan, everyone acts so nice. They're like, oh, Lil, we missed you. We never wanted you to go. And she goes, psh, whatever. Amazing, 10 out of 10, no notes. Then the very next morning, there is one and only one person on their tribe working. You know who it is. But then, surprise, surprise, it is merge time and both tribes are tied 5-5. Burton talks to Lil and says, join me as a fellow outcast and we can rule the season as father and son. I mean, we can have the majority against the Morgans. And in that, he implies they have a final 2, but nothing is like 100% said out of his mouth, but Lil takes it as, we have a final 2. That's important, keep that in mind. But then Savage talks to Lil and...
Do you want to vote with the Morgans?
I don't know.
It's important to us.
You guys are ready to ditch me off again.
What are you talking about?
The same people are still there that voted me off.
You let me know before.
Remember I asked you to let me know before, and you didn't? I am in a whirlwind right now. You don't know which way to turn. They're all offering friendship, Whether or not I can trust all this, I can't really say.
Poetic. The stars are aligned. And in my opinion, Lil's story will not feel like it has any sort of completion until she gets Savage out of this game, like he got her out of this game. It all needs to come full circle. So they vote at tribal council, and
7th person voted out of the tribe. Andrew. Andrew, tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go.
Lil says, finally, the weight of Savage is off of my shoulders. I am so glad I stood up for myself. Okay, well, with Savage gone, what is Lil's path here? What is her story? She is seen as a hard worker who is nice, but for her to win it all, she likely needs to sit next to someone like Burton, who was voted out of the game, or someone hated like Fairplay, because Fairplay, by the way, is the clear villain, and Rupert is like our fan favorite hero. Keep that in mind, that's also important. She needs to make these people respect her, despite her having been out of the game for 10 days. Rupert comes to her and says, hey, Lil, you're a Drake. Let's remove these Morgans, and at worst, you'll finish in 6th place. Unless you win immunity, then I'll let you stay another 3 days. I mean, that's what Rupert says. It's not a great pitch, but that's the pitch. Rupert wins reward, gifts it to Burton, who takes Lil with him, and she says, Burton, I don't want to really be thinking. You do the thinking and just tell me what to think. So when they talk,
here's the deal. We've got to get Rupert off right now. He's the mastermind behind everything, and he has those 2 girls in his back pocket like there's no tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, so you need to make friends with Krista and say, listen, I'm going along with whatever you guys want. Let me know how you want me to vote, and I'll continue to vote that way.
Well, see, now it's starting to lie, and I'm going to have a problem with that.
Well, you better hand feed me real easy, okay?
I will. I will do everything I can to keep you in the game as long as possible, and you have my word on that. I mean, I'll do a Scout's honor. I haven't done that
I am proud of
since,
you.
like, I was in Scouts,
Okay.
so you got my word on that.
oh wow, Burton is not joking around. They've been back for like, what, 2 or 3 days, and he's already like, all right, you know the guy who just gave me a reward? He needs to get out of here, which is correct, by the way. And Lil seems to be on board. Imagine if her and Burton ran this game and eliminated everyone who voted them off. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Revenge would be sweet. Rupert then wins immunity, completely disrupting their plans for now, and instead Ryan O, Savage's right-hand man, is voted off instead. Episode 10 then sees a new alliance formed.
Number 1, Rupert goes first. If he doesn't win immunity, we go to Krista. No one can breathe a word of her off.
Just remember, the 5 of us have to stick together
And
and
we
tell
have-
all 3 of them.
We tell them Rupert's going home. Their eyes are about as big as the sun. They can't believe it. They're like, oh my God, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. So the game's about to take a serious change.
I am surprised Burton and Fairplay would want a 5-person alliance with 3 women who could turn on them come Final 5, but hey, this is good news for Lil. We're not here to analyze Fairplay and Burton's game. That's already happened. This is Lil's game. Her openness to good strategy says a lot, despite how emotional she appears to be a lot of the time. Burton and Lil then win reward, and Burton wins a kiss on the mouth from Lil, which has him telling her, stop doing that, quit doing that, implying that she does it way more often than this one time we see on the show. So Burton gives his reward to Fairplay, probably to avoid more mouth kisses, and Lil says, I am not giving my reward to anyone. Sorry, guy. She says sorry quite a lot, by the way, like all the time about everything. Now here's the thing. Rupert is the ultimate hero of the season. I know I said that earlier, but that's really important. Any chance the story gets to paint him positively, they do that, and they go to maximum effort when they do it. So when Rupert feels sad that Lil didn't give him a reward, it looks bad on her, and she cries. But then she goes on reward, and like she told Burton, she says, Fairplay, I don't want to think, you do the thinking for me. So then,
Swear not. I am the Scoutmaster.
You're drunk, Lil.
I've had 3/4 of a beer.
I think you're drunk.
back at camp, Rupert asked Lil if Fairplay tried to align with her. By the way, Fairplay did. Fairplay is Rupert's mortal enemy, and she says no, Fairplay did not. And Rupert believes her. Rupert's not the best of this game. Again, that's in his video. She is sticking to this alliance she has with Fairplay and Burton, no matter what, although it opposes the almighty Rupert. Burton wins immunity and Lil is conflicted. She says she loves Rupert, but Burton and Fairplay keep telling her over and over how it is just a game that they're playing, and she is struggling with that. So they all vote at Tribal, and
First vote. Dara. Dara. 2 votes for Dara. John. Rupert. 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 Rupert, 9th person, voted out of the tribe. Rupert, the tribe has spoken.
Episode 11 sees the family visit and Lil cries upon seeing her husband, but then something even more emotional and devastating occurs. Fairplay finds out that his grandma passed away while he was on Survivor, and Lil, along with most of the others, let him win reward. They completely throw the challenge, and seeing everyone back up Fairplay in his time of need it's frankly heartwarming.
Sandra, first move.
Fairplay's buddy.
Dan, take one step back.
I mean, I have about a million questions I'd like to know about my grandmother, but obviously some people don't give a so Sandra
It's not all about you all the time.
Right.
His grandmother just died.
That was a brilliant performance, sir. Like that? Yeah, thank you. Did you like mine? I couldn't cry. I tried. I don't know if I brought on a couple tears for you. It was sweat. My grandmother's sitting home watching Jerry Springer right now.
Bro, what? Sandra is the only one, by the way, to not care that Fairplay's grandma supposedly died. Like, I don't think, whether it was true or not, Sandra did not care. But Lil bought it hook, line, sinker. In this case, she lost the hook though. Dara wins immunity and T wants to turn on her alliance already to vote off Fairplay and Burton. So this is discovered by the others and she is voted out instead. Episode 12 sees Lil's team win reward, and while on said reward,
No kidding! My mouth is watering.
Well, I'll order it for you guys. For dinner, she would like the filet mignon.
I love a man that takes over.
Me too.
How would you like that prepared?
Medium rare.
Medium rare?
John ordered all the food for all of us. I enjoyed that. You know, I like when a guy takes the initiative. I know that John had to promise Krista and Sandra a lot in order for them to back us up to get rid of T.
I had to promise on my grandmother to them.
Oh, no, don't do that.
I had to.
She's looking down here.
I know, she'll forgive me. Lil is the queen of sitting around the campfire.
I am not.
Yes, you are.
I am not. I like it. They hurt my feelings. When they come to me,
I'm gonna keep hurting your feelings unless you start telling the truth.
I'm going to bed.
John talks down to me like I'm some idiot.
dude, Lil is a mess, but she's so authentically herself, it's hard not to appreciate her, you know? The next night at camp, Burton talks to her and she says, "Burton, do we still have a final two?" He goes, well, you know, like one step at a time this game, right? Wrong move, Burton, wrong move. Lil says, I guess I need to turn on Burton and get him out for lying to me. Dara wins immunity again, and Fairplay tells Lil that Krista is next, and when he does, he paints Lil as this naive idiot, and that the male sex is superior to women when it comes to thinking, and pretty much everything else except making babies. Yes, Fairplay said that. He says many more misogynistic things, but this is important because Fairplay is the ultimate villain. Keep that in mind. He's very misogynistic this season. We then go to tribal council, and believe it or not, there are talks that Lil is unbeatable in the final two. Really? Lil's unbeatable? And to say this in front of a jury on top of that is wild. I mean, that's a good look for her. I'm surprised. Thanks for the free booster game. Krista is voted out, and then in episode 13.
I talked to Lil yesterday about the possibility of going after getting rid of D next. Yeah. And Lil, what do you think?
I'm not real wild about it.
John and Burton said we're going to get rid of Dara next because she's such a threat. And I thought, this is not right. I don't like this. You know, what happened to our alliance of 4 people?
You have no problem with D going out?
No, I mean, it's better D than me. And you two promised me at least third.
So everything's cool.
We made a pact. So I started thinking, if they can screw her over, they can screw me over.
Burton and Fairplay sealed their fate. Lil is not putting up with this nonsense. Burton wins reward, takes Fairplay with him, and now the women have a lot of free time on their hands without these 2 guys around. They can talk as much as they want about whatever they want. Lil snitches on what Burton and Fairplay said to Dara to help her flip on them. Good for her. We even see the guys on reward paint the women as dumb and say getting one of them to work with them will be so easy, they don't even have to worry about it. Especially Lil. They see her as a dumb pawn they can control, which I will say is not helped by the fact that Lil has told them both that, hey, I don't want to think, you just tell me what to do in this game and I'll do it. Not a great look. So when the guys get back to camp, the women are unified. That's right. Lil and Dara approach them and say, oh, Sandra, she's done. She's given up. She didn't even try to talk strategy with us. A bit unbelievable, but the guys think so low of the women that actually For them, it's a bit believable. This is obviously a ploy to us. We know better. The women are actually in cahoots now to get out Burton. And while Burton and Fairplay are not completely sold, as this is out of character for Sandra, yeah, they really do think that this is actually possible. Burton even presses Lil on the matter and she sticks to her guns. Dara then wins immunity for a third time and Fairplay says, well, Lil is next and Sandra is now a goat to drag. Plus, he says that Lil is mentally breaking down in this game. Not a good look if others see that as well, which I totally get. Lil cries quite a bit. So they all vote a tribal and...
First vote. Lil. Lil. 2 votes Lil. Burton. 2 votes Lil, 1 vote Burton. Burton. 12th person voted out of the tribe. Burton. For the second time, the tribe has spoken.
Survivor Thursday. He calls himself Johnny Fairplay.
I'm much more than just a pretty face.
But little Johnny doesn't play fair.
Every time a plan went down, you put it together.
Even lying about his grandmother's death. Now will someone finally take him down?
And we'll get John because John is just like a girl.
An all-new Survivor back on its regular night, CBS Thursday.
Can you believe Lil made the final 4 over Burton and that she has been a deciding vote on every single person who's been ejected? That's right, Lil always votes for whoever goes to the jury and not everyone here can say that. But it is day 37 and Jeff arrives with the surprise.
John and 3 women in bed, another first.
Actually, not really.
Some pastries and we'll make some mimosas. Oh, Lil. Lil.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. God, I love that man.
It goes from good to bad.
I wonder if he'd like to join a troop.
Well, home is only 3 days away, so hopefully a little love from home will tide you over.
Thank
All right,
you.
Lil.
Thank you. You want to join a Boy Scout troop?
Someday.
I am half surprised she didn't try to kiss him like she did to Burton. Would Jeff be a good Scoutmaster? Probably. If Survivor completely bombed, I mean, it's too far along. It's season 7 here at this point. It's not bombing. Had it bombed, I could see him being a good Scoutmaster. Fairplay then paints Lil to the others as someone who the jury loves and how they will all vote for her. This has been said multiple times this season, but I am super unclear who loves Lil based on what we have seen. Burton seemed to have tolerated her, Rupert feels betrayed by her, and no one from the old Morgan tribe expresses love for her that is on the jury, so I don't get it. Lil then asks Dara who she wants to go to the final 2 with, and Dara says, I want to go to the final 2 with Sandra. Why would Dara say that? I mean, this is not a Dara video, but seriously, why would Dara say that? This is bad news for Lil, as she says no one wants to go to the final 2 with her, and this makes her sad. She's sad all the time though. But hey, lemonade from lemons, right? She talks to Sandra and says Dara goes next if she doesn't have immunity, and Sandra says, duh, and what do you know, in a twist that I find crazy. The jury wins immunity in a trivia game. Why is the jury even competing for immunity? I have no idea, but it happens, so they all vote, and
13th person voted out of the tribe. Dara. Dara, the tribe has spoken.
Lil is more than pleased with herself when she says that is what Dara gets for not wanting to go to the final 2 with me. Imagine if Lil presented herself as a strong woman instead of someone who cries all the time and is really emotional, because man, some of the things she does, some of the things she says, that's super cool. It's too bad it's being presented weak, I guess. It's a shame, presentation matters, and in this case, what Lil's doing on paper is more impressive than her presentation of how she's doing it. But now it is crunch time. If Fairplay wins this final immunity challenge, he takes Sandra to the final 2. If Sandra wins, it seems more than likely she takes Fairplay based on what the show has told us. So it is do or die for Lil. Can a player who's voted off 3rd come back into the game and win it all? Well, at the final immunity challenge.
And like that, Sandra is out.
Lily, you want to make a deal right now?
No, sir.
You're crazy.
My daughter wants to be a doctor.
Do you understand how...
John, don't talk to me.
Do you understand how the deals work, Lil?
Shut up.
Lil, who do you want to go against in the final 2?
How many people have you screwed over, John?
Everyone in the game?
You know what? I do aerobics.
Okay.
My knees are great.
Okay.
My ankles are great.
Okay.
These are called squats.
Okay.
And aerobics.
Ready for a deal?
I'm not going to deal, honey.
I'll give you immunity. You take me to the final.
I'm not going to promise anything.
Well, then that's not a deal, Lil.
Well, I'm not going to deal then.
John is out, lost his balance. Lil wins her first and most important immunity.
I was so nervous, I felt like I was going to throw up. I knew if somebody else won it, I would be out of the game.
That was completely amazing to see her screw over the ultimate villain of this season. But let's back up for just a second. Fairplay offered her to have immunity for free if she takes him to the final two. Sandra has previously said this season that if Lil is in the final two, she votes for her. While it is emotionally satisfying to see Lil beat Fairplay and taunt him, don't get me wrong, iconic, it is not the best move for her strategic game, as a final two with Fairplay would help her so much with the jury. But instead, in a shocking move, she votes off Fairplay, as even Sandra says, I wouldn't have done that. But back at camp, Lil says, I didn't like Fairplay as a person and how he thought he could just use me. Once again, she feels like she is standing up for herself. Lil is nothing if not authentic. Here we are, final tribal council, Sandra versus Lil, and to win, they need 4 of the 7 jury votes. Right now, Sandra basically has Rupert and Krista's votes guaranteed, so there are theoretically 5 votes in the air that Lil could try and snag. She opens final tribal with a case about how she was a hard worker, she was kind, and she needed to make the move she did to keep herself in the game because people would make alliances with her and then they would flip on said alliances. It is an okay start that is marred by Lil talking about herself in the third person. It's like a bit strange. Ryan O is the first juror to talk, and he asks,
being out of the game for 10 days and you were in the game for only 29 days, my question is, do you think it's fair that I give you the $1 million over Sandra?
I was out of the game for 8 days, and that was one of the biggest, lowest points of, I hate to say of my life, but it was a really hard time. Yeah, maybe I wasn't on the island with you, but those 8 days that I was out, it was no picnic being outcasts.
It hasn't been brought up until now, but the sentiment of Lil and Burton not having played as long as everyone else surely must be a factor for more than just Ryan O. I know if I were a juror on this season, I would consider this as well. Lil really drops the ball here with Ryan when she doesn't explain how she did more with 29 days than Sandra did with 39. Even if this isn't true, that's the pitch I think she needed to make. Rupert is next, and he is incredibly biased towards Sandra, as he says Lil is a scoutmaster, so why did she lie all the time? A double standard for her that Sandra doesn't have to answer. Lil says, I was honest up until Burton wanted to vote you off. True, but Burton proposed that idea literally after having been to the Savage Tribal, which kicked off the merge. It was like the day after the merge. AKA she started lying to Rupert in no time at all. I mean, she wasn't on a tribe with Rupert, so yeah, no time at all. T then asked Lil why Sandra should not win, and Lil says Sandra was disrespectful to her and others and rode coattails. Good point, others have been trying to say that Sandra rode coattails, so that's a solid pitch. Krista is next, and she asked,
so you always would say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, and about everything. You would win something, you'd say, I'm sorry. And then 2 seconds later, you'd start reciting your Boy Scouts oath. So you always are hiding behind this Boy Scouts oath of yours.
I did not hide behind the oath all day long. It's 16 years of volunteering. It's something that I had no other clothes. I was in it. I was stuck in it. It was part of me.
So because of the clothes that you happen to be wearing?
Because of 16 years of being in an organization that I volunteered in, it was so much a part of me.
So I guess that's it, Sandra?
No matter how good of a game Lil played, the perception of her personality and her being a scoutmaster does so much to undo all that she did in the post-merge. It's a shame, but hey, Lil shouldn't even be at the final two. Dara then asked them how they got to the final two, and whomever is most honest, she says she will vote for. Lil and Sandra give equally good answers, as Lil says she is older, not athletic, aka this is why she was overlooked, and only broke alliances when needed. Fairplay then asked Lil about how she feels she represented the Boy Scouts, which is so funny. Like, Fairplay came into this game as a villain, played like the ultimate villain, and is over here getting all, oh, how do you feel about the morals of being a Boy Scout master? Like, get out of here, Fairplay. Anyways, this is what he's asking. And Lil says, I wish I had never brought this uniform to the Pearl Islands because it has done me far more harm than good. The Boy Scouts are honest, she says. This game is not. Then with her closing words, she goes off about how it's bullcrap that there is a double standard for her just because she wears the uniform. It's true, but had she never been voted off and gone to the final two with someone less liked than Sandra, she had a much better shot at winning despite the uniform. So at the live reunion, Jeff reveals who won season several.
First vote. Sandra. Lil. Sandra. 3 votes Sandra, 1 vote Lil. The winner of Survivor Pearl Island.
So let's break this down. How is Lil as a character and as a strategist? In my opinion, Lil was a hot mess. At no point was I rooting for her strategically, but at the same time, I found her as a character to be wildly entertaining, and her coming back into the game at the merge only to cause chaos with her decisions helped make this season so much fun to watch. Also, Lil, on like every reward she goes on, is a hero. I mean, she's a mess, but she's a hero. She isn't that rootable strategically, in my opinion. She's not rootable strategically, but she's smart and yet so bad at this game at the same time. It's baffling to watch, but at the end of the day, I am glad the Outcast twist happened, and I am glad that Burton and Lil came back into the game and made the season what it is. Out of 28 character moments shown on the show, 17 were heroic and 11 were villainous, making Lil a hero on Survivor Pearl Islands. And out of 47 strategic moments shown on the show, 27 were smart and 20 were dumb, making Lil a smart strategist on Survivor Pearl Islands. Thanks for watching, and doubly thanks for liking and subscribing. I'll see you all next time.